What is good, YouTube? It's your boy George Blends here with the first YouTube video on this channel, man. Now this is crazy. So today we're gonna be giving you guys a mid-taper tutorial, in-depth, full tips and tricks of the best stuff that I've learned as a barber with only 5 months of experience making some good ass money, man. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn those post notifications on, because I'm gonna be posting so many times on shorts and YouTube videos. So if you wanna be part of this journey, make sure you subscribe. On YouTube, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. And guys, let me know in the comments down below what type of videos or tutorials or anything you wanna see. Let's go.
Alright guys, so we're going to start by debulking the taper with a lever open on a 1.5 guard. I'm using my Wahl seniors, and we don't want to take off too much. That's why we're using our 1.5 guard. So let's do that. Alright, now after we debulked, we start with our trimmer, and we're going to make a curved guideline just at the side section of the ear, right there. And we're going to go all the way up, taking off all that bulk. And I like to debulk my taper before putting in that guideline, because it's much easier to just create the line, and it makes my life so much easier, and it'll make your lives easier. Highly recommend doing this. Alright, next step, we're going to take our 1.5 guard and make our first guideline with the lever closed in the same rainbow-like shape that we did with our trimmer, and we're going to go up maybe 1.5 inches. That's going to be our foundation for how high we want to take our fade and all the steps below. And now to blend in that bulk, we're going to open up that 1.5 guard, and we are going to take that fade, remove that line, and make sure that blends nice and easy. Not going too high, because we're going against the grain, not with the grain. Here we're going with the grain just to take it down a little bit, take off the bulkiness. But we're always making sure we're using the corner of our blade going up in soft motions. And we always want to make sure we're attacking those dark spots while debulking. We don't necessarily have to focus on it too much while putting in our steps and our guidelines, but while we're blending, we need to make sure that we do this so that our fade becomes flawless and seamless. So now we're going to line up the arch, and I like doing the arch because when we do the arch without the full fade completed, we don't have to waste time taking out those areas where we're just going to go over the trimmer with. So I like doing it before, and it saves me a bunch of time, keeps my haircuts under 45 minutes, and it makes the haircut beautiful. Also make sure to start from the top and make the first guideline, then make the second guideline at the bottom and connect both of them. Now we're going to make our first guideline with the 0.5 guard closed, and we're going up around 1 inch. And I like making my guideline with my 0.5 guard because it's just super easy to take out after. What we're doing here, we're opening the open of the 0.5 guard, and that's why it's so easy to blend into the 0.5 with the 1.5. That's why I use that method, the Los Cuts method. It's super easy, super effective. And if we can't get that bottom line out, we're going to close the lever halfway, and we're going to blend it out fully. Alright, next we're going to take our 1 guard, and that bulky line that we made, we're going to take it out with the lever open, just flicking at that line, gliding the clipper against the head, making sure we don't make too harsh of a line and don't ruin that 0.5 line we made. Just flicking at it. And we're also just playing with the lever here to see really what works best to try to take out that line fully. And now we take our foil shaver and we're going to remove all that stubble and go slowly under that line. And if we see a little bit of a line that we made, we're going to tap at it, going from the top to the bottom, slowly just tapping down, making sure that that line is perfect. And erased. Now is where the real fading process comes in. Lever closed, no guard, flicking at that bottom line, very small increments. I know you guys can't see, but we're literally flicking the bottom part of the line, extremely small increments. Now we're gonna go halfway, and we're gonna, again, extremely small increments, but we're slowly getting the increments bigger and bigger. We have the lever halfway now. Again, small increments, working our way up to big increments. Just under the line we made with the 0.5. We don't want to go too high. Again, we want to have a perfect and seamless blend. Now our lever is fully open and we're using the corner of the blade to flick out at that line. We are not using the full blade, just the corner of the blade. As you see here, I'm tilting my clipper to the left side like that, and we're just going up slowly, really flicking at that line, getting it fully blended out. And if you need to go over it as many times as you need to, do it, as long as it's perfectly blended.
And don't forget to detail. Detailing is the most important part of the fade. I do all the detailing after I'm done my steps.
Now we're going to repeat the same steps but in the back. And I forgot to show on the other part of the side taper, we have to detail the fade. And I'm detailing the fade at the end after I've done all my steps, because now I know what I have to do, and all I'm doing, lever open, no guard for the bottom portion, and then my one guard open for the top portion. Just really experimenting, using knowledge to figure out what works best to blend.
And when working with the back, I like to put my guideline in sort of a curved shape to really try and get those lines as dark as possible to avoid using enhancements and make it super clean. One and a half guard with the lever closed. Once again, making our first guideline to determine where we want our fade to be, going up and going down.
And now we have the lever open, just flicking at that big bulky area and seeing what works. As we see here, the 1.5 really doesn't work to take off that bulk. So I probably use a one guard with the grain, I think open, which is really gonna help and take off that big bulkiness on the top, because we don't want that bulkiness there. We want to blend it nicely and seamlessly. Alright, now we're going to line up the vertical bars of the back taper, creating that foundation so that, again, we don't have to fade unnecessary things to waste time. This is a very crucial and important step while fading, and I find this has helped me so much. Just creating that foundation, it helps extremely. This fading method is so good because when we take our 0.5 guard here and we make an inch guideline, first we're going to have an easier time taking out the bald line, and we're going to have an easier time fading into the top of the haircut. And that's what I love so much about this close cuts method. It's literally the best fading method. Brought my haircuts all the way from 2 hours as a 5-month experienced barber all the way down to 45 minutes depending the haircut. Like, that's a crazy improvement, like being humble. And it also led me to be able to charge the price I'm charging at $15, which is a very good price. And then we can also open up that 0.5 guard, slowly tap and glide off of the hair while we blend that line into the top. That's what I love about this fade method. Super easy. An open and close technique on a half guard, which is a blending guard, makes it so nice. As you see, that line is practically erased. And then with a little bit of touch up and detail, it's going to be perfect. Next up, we're going to take our one guard. Once again, trying to get that top part blended, and we don't want to move up too high, just using the corner of our blade with the perfect precision to try and blend out that line, because black hair is very coarse and you want to use your corners a lot. Your corners of the clipper are going to be your best friend.
454.
Lever playing is also a very important part. With any guard, any guideline, lever playing will get your blend fully blended, and that's what also helped me scale my barbering. If y'all are this far in the video, make sure you comment barber. Now we're going to debulk the area again with a shorter guard, going with the grain to try and smoothly blend through. I think we're going here with a one guard lever open, and we might even close up the guard too, just to make sure that everything flows together, because under the fade it's perfect, but that top bulky part really got to improve it. So we're working with these steps here to try to blend it perfectly. And also we are flicking with the 1.5 open now, because we debulked the area with the one guard, and now we're going with the grain with the 1.5. And as you see, we're closing it, and it's actually doing something. It's blending those hairs, making them darker and darker. And again, we're taking our time and detailing. Now we're going to close that lever and slowly blend out that line that's kind of throwing off the fade. Closed lever, move halfway, very small increments. And this is the same idea on the side part. On the side part, we couldn't really see with the camera angle, but here we can see perfectly. Small increments. Lever slowly gonna get open. Now it's fully open, and we're just flicking at that line, just flicking small motions, and as you see, that line is disappearing perfectly. And I'm speeding this part up, but this is the detailing process, really using that lever open with no guard, using the corner, and then using the blending guards to really attack those dark spots in the fade and making sure everything flows smoothly. So by the end of this haircut, I might not show all of it, but all we're doing is just attacking a bunch of spots in the haircut, placing the client's head and looking at different angles, trying to see what is dark. And again, it won't be perfect, and don't try to overthink it, because you could make some errors. So again, slow steps and good detailing. Now we're going to debulk the side of the taper with that same guard that we first initially debulked everything with. And we're going to work from there by lining up the bars and around the ear. So when lining up around the ear, I like to start with the bottom and then work my way to the top. And I also like to connect my guidelines together, just like a fade, right? Except you're connecting guidelines with a trimmer. It's kind of the same thing with the arch on the side of the taper. You're connecting everything together, making sure you're only using the corner of your blade. And then you could use the flat side of the blade to remove all those bulky hairs under that are still there. But for now, we're only using our trimmer to get everything sharp. Now for the hairline, I like to debulk it first before even working with my trimmer. So my client requested a kind of dark length, but still to be a little bit light. So he asked for basically a 1.5 guard closed. So I gave him just that, made sure I'm attacking the top to the bottom of the hairline, and then he says it's good. And my client did request enhancements after, so I'll show you guys that later. But we're just wiping off the canvas to get it clear. And we even used some alcohol to wipe down the hairline to get it nice and crispy. I ran out of cotton swabs, so I just used a Kleenex. But doesn't matter really what you use, just don't use toilet paper. But yeah, it doesn't really matter what you use as long as you get that area clean so that those hairs could lay down nicely and everything look super sharp and clean. Alright, now we're getting into the hairline. So always, your brush is your best friend. You're always going to want to brush down those hairs and really get everything going. So right here, I always like to start by lining up just the side and the vertical bar, because that really tells me, okay, I'm going to get my guideline smack in the middle here, and then I could work from there. So a better example, again, I get the side lined up here, and then I brush everything down because the brush is the best friend, and then I line everything up. Again, make sure I'm not pushing too far back, just to get everything in those falling hairs. Again, it's going to take a little while to get everything, but again, your client loves when you take your time. And I also like to go down kind of here, and that'll really leave it like nice and perfect. And now we're going to get to lining up the middle. So I always picture before, you guys didn't see, but I always like to put the clipper or trimmer really back and see where exactly am I going to be lining up. So here I put a spot, and then I'm slowly working my way from one side to the other, and I'm looking at that overhang where exactly it goes so that the hairline could be perfectly straight. And again, you will have to tap at the line many times to get everything perfect, because your first try you don't go too high, but then your second time you get that perfect length and start tapping more, and your hairline for the client is going to look absolutely stunning. Alright guys, now the client requested some enhancements. So we're using the Tomb 45 clutch card and the Kiss tintation enhancements. So I like to position my card on the area that I'm going to be using, and then I spray on the card basically. So 75% on the card, and then the other percentage, 25%, on the hairline. And as you see there, the results are looking good. And then I'm going to get the vertical bar. And again, when I'm on the vertical bar, I'm very cautious. I don't spray too much, because then you're going to have to start wiping it, and it's going to be so annoying. So as you can see, it's definitely getting darker. Definitely getting darker. And when we work with the bottom of the hairline, we have really less room to work with. So we make sure that we spray at the bottom of the card. And here, I'm also going to do the C-cup of the enhancement. And like I said, I'm going to repeat it again, spraying on the card basically. Never on the skin, because that will ruin the entire thing. Because on the card, it's like you get basically the whole thing on the card, but that little bit from the enhancement is gonna go on the C-cup. And again, we don't want to make the C-cup too dark, so we're gonna use white pencil after to make it nice and sharp. Same thing on the other side, just repeating that process and making sure everything is super clean. Client keeps checking himself out, man. He definitely loves those results. Here I'm telling my client that I actually ran out of blades that day. He was the last client who came in that day. And my bulk order, it didn't come in, so that day I couldn't use the blade on him. So I was kind of upset, but it's all good. I made sure to go over those areas with the trimmer super nicely so that everything gets nice and sharp. And here my client also requested for some hair fibers on the light areas, and I'm just making sure that goes well. And that's what makes the hairline super dark, super sharp, and yeah, gets that enhanced look. Alright guys, so now we're gonna get into the white pencil area. So here I'm using my pencil, and I always make sure I sharpen my pencil so I have a nice flat area. And when we're doing the white pencil, something I learned is that you never want to take the pencil flat on the head. Like, let's say smack on the corner, like the tip of the pencil. No, you don't want to do that. So here I give an example. So the tip of the pencil, you don't want to do that. So you want to really get the pencil nice and flat on its side. Then you make that super nice line. You can go over it multiple times, but just make sure that the top area of the line gets dark and all the areas of your line that you want to be in that white range, showing where the taper goes and ends. That's exactly what you could do. And I like to use white pencil because it really enhances the haircut. And I don't do it unless my clients ask for it. I always make sure I get permission, and it's not even included in my service. So $15 haircuts, guys. If you want the pencil for only $15, like with the haircut, it's an amazing deal. Barbers out here charging for enhancements. So make sure you come get a cut from George Blends if you're located in the Montreal area. Client's feeling himself again, man. And now we also did the around the ear area, not all of it, but just a little bit of that area. And now we're using our trimmer to really blend that line. I'm gonna start trying to use Q-tips to blend that line to really see if that works, because I've seen a lot of barbers recently using Q-tips, and if the Q-tip method works, then that's gonna be a plus. But not only does the trimmer method work properly, it removes all the excess hair that you've had because you keep going over it. And that white pencil really gives you a guideline for your C-cup and your arch of what hairs you want to take off and what's perfect. So back there we blended it perfectly, and now we're gonna work on the front. Again guys, I'm sorry the camera angles are not the greatest. I'm still working it out. It's the first YouTube video, but we're definitely gonna be evolving from here. So just keep blending that line, tapping from the top to the bottom, and doesn't matter how many times you go over it, as long as you give a good haircut, your client's gonna love it and he'll come back and pay that money. Alright guys, these are the final results. I hope this mid taper really helps you guys, because as a barber, this video was super fun to make with my boy Danny, and this haircut took around 45 minutes to do. So make sure you comment viral if you got this far into the video, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Please subscribe to this channel, like this video, and peace.